years back, a relatively unknown developer, Beanox, was given reign over Spider-Man. Both Edge of Time and Shattered Dimensions have been deemed less than stellar, sporting some interesting ideas that never quite congeal. Now riding on the coattails of the big summer movie release, the developers created a more traditional game, harkening back to 2004's Spider-Man 2. Is it truly amazing, simply spectacular, or as pedestrian as Peter Parker?
How about that?
I knew Dr. Smythe was the nanobot guy, but I had no idea he had big bots too.
Starting sometime after the events of the 2012 film, Peter Parker finds himself strolling through Oscorp with friend Gwen Stacy for an extended first-person tour. What starts as innocent reconnaissance quickly goes awry when infectious animal-human hybrids escape the lab, threatening the population of New York City. With that, simple origin stories are born for some of Spider-Man's arch-enemies. Matters are complicated by Oscorp's attempt to contain the situation with robots that happen to see Spider-Man as a threat. With mutants running amok on the streets of New York, it's up to Spidey to set things right. It's not groundbreaking in either the medium of comic or video game narrative, but the power triangle between the half-breeds, Spider-Man, and Oscorp keeps the pace moving, with plenty of conspiracy, cameos, and callbacks to the Marvel pantheon to create a tale worthy of being collected in a trade paperback. Manhattan plays host to a fabulous skyline filled with distractions, as well as subterranean layers teeming with danger and answers. The latter is where most of the story plays out, indoors where free-form web-slinging is replaced with more careful crawling. Big, interconnected rooms filled with enemies and hazards are what stand between Spider-Man and his next plot point. Light exploration and a fair amount of collectibles, which give experience boosts and flesh out background details, break up an otherwise predictable flow. There really aren't any puzzles to speak of, just some light traversal obstacles and wash, rinse, repeat tasks that pad out the experience. There are some occasional welcome surprises, adding interesting wrinkles to the development, like a photography system.
Nice!
By the end, you'll see some real game changers that make the journey more than worth it.
Just another reason to create the antidote, right?
Be it at the waterfront, Central Park, or the 63rd floor of a high-rise, the Amazing Spider-Man takes on a different feel in the open. With the exception of some boss encounters, the city is ostensibly an open world to explore and mine for comic book page collectibles. The map populates with side quests as you progress through the story. Ho-hum starters like stopping a mugging soon give way to photo essays, stunt video production, or infiltrating an Oscorp lab for a new upgrade. The leveling system is twofold, with XP earned from missions, collectibles, and so forth used for improving Spidey's moveset. Destroying robots and other tech-related endeavors let you power up your gadgets. While there are a couple of abilities and a few pieces of gear that really add to Spider-Man's already impressive repertoire, most do little to leave their mark, or lend a sense of character growth beyond the dopamine pleasantries accompanied with leveling. With the story's charm, it's easy to keep soldiering through the missions, packed with just enough pluck to be worthwhile on their own. The city's interruptions are, for the most part, inspired, quick, and fun, ultimately bringing in a adroit balance between the more direct sequences.
All right!
Spider-Man comes fully equipped with punches, webs, and wisecracks. He can stick to almost any surface, swing with wild abandon, or take a bullet, or three. Hopefully his tingling spider sense will keep him out of trouble altogether. All of these powers and responsibilities are mapped to a few buttons and triggers. In execution, it feels a bit artless. Combat is the bulk of the button spamming and borrows heavily from the recent Batman titles, where reaction trumps action. On-screen button cues make fights feel like Simon Says, where being in the general vicinity of an enemy is enough to start the pummeling and combo building. Spider Sense will let you know when to dodge or use a single button to web retreat to the safety of a ceiling. There's no need to plan, just react. The game's autopilot does the rest. This leads to a disconnect between the player and the action, which is somewhat alleviated by the variety of moves to simply try out and enjoy. The limited stealth play requires a different approach, though it's almost as guileless. Boss fights are the worst offenders, with Spider-Man doing his coolest actions in scripted cutaways, as response prompts get even more didactic.
Robot time!
Web swinging is equally effortless. In the city, you can swing anywhere, with webs attaching to unseen skyscrapers, even over the park. In this case, it's better to break reality than to break momentum. City swinging may be automatic to the point where it feels nodal. You might not shoot a web while plummeting until the last second, despite how much you press the corresponding trigger. The web rush ability lets you pinpoint where you want Spidey to go, again making things really easy. It actually slows down time and casts a Phantom Spider-Man, so there's little doubt or urgency when using it. It all adds up to a feeling which is reminiscent of Spider-Man, without needing the skill to pull off all the wild acrobatics, as if everyone playing has also been bit by a radioactive spider and given superhuman hand-eye coordination.
One for the collection.
Could you please ask him to stop shooting at me?
Hang on, Doc. I'm on it.
The visual focus mirrors the inside-outside dichotomy. While sewers have every right to be dank, there's little differentiating the malaise of the entirety of the indoor environments. You won't confuse, say, the sewers with the prison by looks alone, yet they share a similar feel, dull yet serviceable. On the outside, the big city shifts into focus as Spider-Man swings by, obscuring more oft-putting details unless you stop to take in the scenery as citizens snap photos of you on their phones.
Stay frosty.
Day and night cycles add a little flourish to the mostly static setting. Character models give off a wax figure feel at times, but like the hammy voice acting, fit in with the comic vibe. The questionable forays into first person don't make a lot of sense, but it's easy to overlook them for the greater goal of having fun.
I've always been a reader. The Tooth Fairy's about to start working overtime.
This Spider-Man isn't that amazing, but he saves the day anyway. His adventure goes the distance with enough ingenuity sprinkled into the sustained action to distract more often than he disappoints. Even with the kindergarten controls, you'll want to see the story to its conclusion, and you'll be tempted to try to do whatever a spider can on the island of Manhattan. You'll do it for the experience, not the experience points, which is always a good thing.
Okay, that'll do it.